Knights of the Realm, the hour of destiny is upon us. Advance with valor.
No one expected the human to survive even 1 minute. The galactic arena floated above a burning red planet, massive and alive. Surrounded by glowing towers and energy shields that shimmered like stars, thousands of alien beings filled the seats. Creatures of every size and shape, some with scales, some with wings, others made of metal and light, all gathered for one reason. They had come to watch a human lose. Humans were known across the galaxy as a fragile species. Slow, soft, and easy to break, they were thinkers, not fighters. Survivors, not warriors. At least that was what everyone believed. At the center of the arena stood Zyra. She was tall and powerful, her silver armor reflecting the arena lights. Her glowing eyes calm and confident. Zyra was an elite alien warrior, undefeated in more than 100 public duels. To her people, she was a symbol of strength and pride. The crowd roared as her name echoed through the arena. Zyra, Zyra, Zyra. She lifted her weapon, a long energy blade, and the noise grew louder across the arena. Far from the cheering crowd stood a single human. His name was Ethan. He wore no armor. He carried no weapon. He stood quietly, hands relaxed at his sides, breathing slowly. Many aliens did not even notice him at first. Some laughed when they did. Others pointed and whispered, "This is the human, that weak one. He looks too small." The arena commentator's voice boomed across the space. "Today's duel will be brief. The human challenger stands no chance. This duel will end in seconds." Zyra turned her head and finally looked at Ethan. She felt nothing but mild curiosity. To her, he looked breakable. She stepped forward, her boots striking the metal floor. Her voice was clear and sharp. "Bye everyone, human," she said. "You stand in a place meant for warriors. This arena does not forgive weakness." Ethan lifted his eyes and met hers. He did not look afraid. He did not bow. He did not step back. His calm made a few aliens uneasy. Though they did not know why, Zyra raised her weapon and pointed it at him. "I challenge you," she announced. "A public duel, so the galaxy may remember why humans should never raise their heads." The crowd exploded with excitement. Some cheered. Some laughed louder. Some turned their gaze away. Already bored, expecting a quick end, there was a pause. The arena lights dimmed slightly. All eyes turned to the human. For a moment, Ethan said nothing. He slowly looked around the arena, at the massive crowd, at the alien warriors watching him like prey, at the glowing stars above. Then he spoke. His voice was calm, not loud, but clear enough to carry. "I accept, but not by your rules." The words hit the arena like a shockwave. The crowd went silent. Even the commentator stopped speaking. Zyra's expression changed for the first time, her eyes narrowing. "What did you say?" she asked, her tone cold. "I accept the duel," Ethan repeated. "But I will not fight the way you expect." Whispers spread through the crowd. "What does that mean? Is he joking? Does he think he has a choice?" Zyra stepped closer, towering over him. "You stand on my battlefield," she said. "You follow my rules." Ethan did not move. He did not raise his voice. He simply replied, "Humans survive by adapting, not by matching strength." Some aliens laughed. Again, others leaned forward, curious despite themselves. If you are enjoying this story so far, remember to gently support the channel by subscribing so you never miss the next part of this sci-fi journey. Zyra lowered her weapon slightly, studying him for the first time. In her long warrior life, she felt something unexpected, uncertainty. The arena systems activated. Energy barriers rose higher. The duel countdown began to glow in the air. 10, 9, 8. The crowd's noise returned, louder than before. Excitement, mixed with disbelief. 7, 6. Ethan closed his eyes for a brief moment, taking a slow breath to the galaxy. He looked like a man preparing to lose. 5, 4. Zyra tightened her grip on her weapon, ready to strike the moment the duel began. She was certain this would be over. Quickly. 3, 2. No one noticed the small shift in Ethan's stance. No one understood what he was preparing to do. 1. The duel was about to begin, and the galaxy was about to learn something it had never expected. The arena lights shifted from gold to deep red, signaling the start of an official duel. A low mechanical voice echoed through the vast space, calm and emotionless. Duel protocol activated. Victory by submission, unconsciousness, or death. Weapons permitted for registered warriors only. A soft wave of energy passed through the arena floor, locking the battlefield. Escape was no longer possible. The crowd leaned forward, their attention sharp now. Even those who had laughed before wanted to see the first strike. Zyra stepped into the center with confidence. Her armor adjusted itself. Glowing symbols appearing across her arms and chest, her weapon shifted form, extending into a heavier blade. Humming with raw power, she rolled her shoulders once, slow and relaxed. To her, This was not a fight. It was a demonstration. Across from her, Ethan remained still. No armor formed around him. No weapon appeared in his hands. He stood exactly as he headbefore.com, focused and silent. Some aliens whispered again. Is he really unarmed? This is not bravery. This is foolishness. The countdown finished. A sharp sound cut through the air. The duel had begun. Zyra moved first. She vanished from her spot in a burst of speed, faster than most eyes could follow. The ground cracked beneath her feet as she crossed the arena in a blink. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Even experienced warriors admired her movement. In the same instant, her blade came down toward Ethan with crushing force. A strike meant to end everything. The impact echoed like thunder. Metal slammed against flesh. Energy flared. Ethan was sent flying across the arena. His body hit the ground hard and slid several meters before stopping. The crowd erupted in laughter and cheers. There it is. Just as expected, it is already over. Zyra straightened and turned away. She did not even look at where the human had fallen. To her, the result was obvious. She lifted her weapon slightly and spoke toward the stands. The duel is decided. Let this serve as a reminder. Humans are not warriors. The commentator's voice returned. Excited? And there you have it. The alien champion strikes first and strikes last. But then, something strange happened. The laughter began to fade, not because of mercy, but because of confusion. A soft sound echoed across the arena. Slow footsteps, steady and controlled. Zyra paused. Her brow tightened slightly. She turned her head. Ethan was standing. He brushed dust from his shoulder calmly. His breathing was steady, his posture relaxed. There was no blood, no broken bones, no sign of pain on his face. The arena fell into stunned silence. That is not possible, someone whispered. Zyra stared at him now, fully facing him. Her eyes scanned his body, searching for hidden armor or energy shields. She found nothing. You should not be standing, she said, her voice sharp. Ethan looked at her, calm as ever. I am still here, he replied. Murmurs spread like fire through the crowd. How did he survive? That strike could break stone. He should be unconscious. Zyra tightened her grip on her weapon. She felt irritation rise in her chest. Not fear, but offense. She moved. Again, faster this time. Her blade struck from the side, then from above, then low. A rapid storm of attacks, each powerful enough to crush bone. Ethan moved. Not fast like her, not strong like her, but precise. He stepped back at the right moment, turned. His body just enough. Let some strikes miss. Let others glance past him. Still, one blow landed. A heavy strike to his side. He was thrown to the ground again. The crowd roared, believing the moment had passed once more. Zyra stood over him now. Weapon raised. This ends now, she said firmly. She raised her blade high, ready to finish the duel. Her voice rang out, confident and proud. Victory as she stopped. Ethan's hand had caught her wrist. Not with strength, not with force, but with perfect timing. Her blade froze in the air, inches from his body. Zyra's eyes widened slightly. Ethan looked up at her from the ground, calm and focused. You declare victory too early, he said. With a controlled motion, he rolled away and stood up again. Once more unharmed, the arena erupted into chaos. Shouts, gasps, and shocked cries filled the space. Zyra stepped back instinctively. For the first time in her career, she did not understand. Her opponent, how? She asked quietly, more to herself than to him. Ethan said nothing. He simply adjusted his stance, calm and ready. Zyra stared at him, confusion clouding her confidence. The human was not fighting like a warrior. He was not fighting like prey either. For the first time, Zyra realized something was wrong. The duel was not going the way it should. And for the first time in her life, the undefeated alien warrior did not know what would happen next. The arena felt different now. The noise had faded into an uneasy silence. Not because the crowd was bored, but because they were thinking. Ethan stood still, watching. Not Zyra's weapon, not her armor, but her movement. His eyes followed the way. Her shoulders shifted before an attack. The slight pause in her step when she turned, a pattern in her breathing after each strike. Zyra circled him slowly, her confidence still strong. But now, mixed with irritation, she had never needed to study an opponent before. To her, strength had always been enough. Ethan did not rush. He did not attack. He waited. Inside his mind, time felt slower. Every sound sharper, every movement clearer. He remembered his training. Not combat training meant for glory, but survival training meant for disaster. Lessons taught to humans who expected to face things bigger than themselves. Zyra lunged again, fast and powerful, her blade cutting the air with a violent hum. Ethan moved a half step to the side. The blade missed him by a breath, close enough to feel the heat. The crowd reacted with surprise. That should have been a clean hit. Zyra turned and attacked again. Then again, then again. Each strike was strong. Each strike was deadly. But Ethan was no longer where she expected him to be. He did not dodge early. He did not dodge late. He dodged exactly when needed. Zyra's strength began to work against her. Her attacks cracked the arena floor, sending small shockwaves through the ground. Ethan felt them, used them, adjusted his balance with each impact. He never blocked her strikes. He redirected space instead. Letting her power move past him, the crowd slowly stopped cheering. Laughter vanished. Whispers stopped. Eyes widened. Mouths closed. They were watching something they did not understand. Why is the human not attacking? Someone asked quietly. Because Ethan was not trying to win by force. He was trying to let Zyra defeat herself. Zyra's breathing grew heavier. Her movement still fast, but no longer perfect. She attacked harder, faster, angrier. Her blade struck down with enough force to split metal. Ethan dropped to one knee, let the strike pass over his head. As Zyra pulled back, there was a small delay. Just a fraction of a second. Ethan saw it. He stepped forward. Not to strike, but to touch. His hand pushed lightly against her armored arm. Not enough to hurt, just enough to shift her balance. Zyra stumbled half a step. Her eyes flashed with shock. No one had ever touched her in a duel without being destroyed. She growled in frustration and attacked again, this time without thinking. Ethan retreated slowly. Each step measured, each breath controlled. Zyra followed, chasing him. Burning more energy with every failed strike, sweat formed beneath her armor. Her muscles tightened. Her breathing became louder. The crowd noticed now. The unstoppable warrior was slowing down. How can a human do this? Someone whispered. Ethan's face remained calm, but his eyes were sharp, focused. He waited for the moment he knew would come. Zyra leaped high into the air, raising her blade for a final crushing blow, putting all her strength into one attack. The arena lights reflected off her armor as she descended, a living weapon falling from the sky. Ethan did not run. He stepped forward, timed his movement perfectly. As Zyra landed, her foot hit the cracked floor at the wrong angle. Ethan turned his body, used her momentum, and pulled. Not hard, not violently, just enough. Zyra lost balance completely, her massive strength working against her. For the first time, the undefeated alien warrior fell. Her body hit the arena floor with a heavy crash. Dust and energy flared outward. The arena went completely silent. No cheers, no laughter, no commentary, only shock. Ethan stood over her, breathing steady. He had not thrown a punch. He had not used a weapon. He had simply waited, observed, and moved at the right moment. Zyra pushed herself up on one arm, staring at the human in disbelief. Her eyes wide, her pride shaken. "What are you?" she asked quietly. Ethan looked down at her, calm and respectful. "Human?" he replied. The crowd did not speak. They could not, because for the first time, they understood something terrifying. This human was not fighting to prove strength. He was fighting to prove control. And the duel was far from over. Zyra lay on the arena floor for a moment, staring at the glowing sky. Above, the noise of the crowd felt distant now, like a sound coming from another world. She had fallen, not pushed by strength, not broken by force, but outplayed. Her chest rose and fell faster than she wanted. Her armor felt heavier than before, not because of damage, but because of realization. She had never felt this feeling, the feeling of being unsure. Slowly, Zyra pushed herself up to her knees. Her glowing eyes locked onto Ethan, who stood a short distance away, calm and steady. The crowd was no longer laughing. They were silent, watching carefully, trying to understand what they had just seen. High above the arena, behind layers of energy shields, the alien council reacted in panic. "These movements are not random," one council member said. "He is reading her." Another replied, "This contradicts everything we know about humans. For centuries, humans had been classified as weak, physically inferior, emotionally unstable, not a threat." That belief was breaking apart. Zyra clenched her weapon tighter. Her pride burned hotter than her exhaustion. She stood up fully now, her stance wide and aggressive. "This is not over," she said, her voice sharp. Her words echoed across the arena. She attacked again, not with speed alone, but with fury. Her blade moved in wide arcs, powerful, desperate. Each strike meant to crush the human completely. The arena floor cracked further under her attacks. Energy sparks flew into the air. Ethan moved carefully now, more focused than before. He avoided her strikes, but this time with effort. Zyra was dangerous, when angry, unpredictable, willing to burn everything to win. She lunged forward, her blade aimed straight at Ethan's chest, a killing blow. For the first time, Ethan stepped directly into her attack. Gasps filled the arena. At the last moment, he shifted his body, caught her wrist, and turned the blade, passed beside him instead of through him. Zyra stumbled forward, and Ethan moved behind her, one arm raised, ready to strike her spine. The crowd froze. One hit there would end the duel, maybe her life. Ethan paused, His fist hovered inches from her armor, his breathing steady, his expression focused. He saw her clearly now, not as an enemy, but as a warrior who had never been taught restraint. He lowered his arm. Instead of striking, he pushed her away, just enough to create distance. Zyra spun around, shocked, her eyes wide with disbelief. "Why?" she demanded. "Finish it." Ethan shook his head slightly. "I am not here to destroy you," he said. "I am here to survive." The words hit harder than any blow. The arena erupted into chaos. Shocked, voices overlapping, some angry, some afraid. The alien council exchanged uneasy glances. This human had the chance to end her. One whispered, and he chose not to. Zyra's hands trembled, not from weakness, but from confusion. In her world, mercy was a lie, a weakness punished by death. She raised her weapon again, but her movements were slower now, uncertain. Ethan did not move to attack. He simply waited. Watching her carefully, Zyra looked at him, truly looked at his calm stance, his steady breathing, his refusal to strike without need. Something inside her cracked. With a sharp exhale, her grip loosened. The glowing weapon slipped from her hand, fell to the arena floor, and powered down with a fading hum. The sound echoed louder than any cheer. Zyra stood empty-handed, her shoulders lowered, her eyes no longer burning with pride. The arena fell into absolute silence. An undefeated alien warrior had dropped her weapon, not because she was beaten, but because she understood something she never had before. Across the galaxy, in council chambers and military halls, alarms began to sound. The old belief was dead. Humans were not weak. They were dangerous in a different way. Ethan stood still, watching Zyra carefully, knowing the duel had changed, but was not yet finished. Because when a warrior drops her weapon, the real consequences begin. Zyra stood still in the center of the arena. Her weapon lay silent at her feet. Her hands were empty, her breathing slow and controlled. For the first time in her life, she did not know what to do next. Across from her, Ethan remained calm. He did not move closer. He did not celebrate. He simply waited. The silence in the arena felt heavy. Thousands of aliens watched without a single sound, unsure if they were witnessing the end of a duel or the beginning of something dangerous. Zyra slowly lowered her head, a movement so small that at first, no one believed it. Then she bent one knee. Gasps spread through the crowd like a shockwave. In alien warrior culture, bowing was not weakness. It was submission to truth. Zyra placed her fist against her chest and lowered her head fully. A gesture reserved only for those acknowledged as equals or superiors. "I acknowledge you," she said, her voice steady but quiet. "Not for your strength, but for your control." The arena remained silent for one long moment. Then, the first cheer erupted, followed by another and another. The silence shattered into thunder, not laughter, not mockery, but respect. Aliens who had mocked humans moments before now stood, some cheering, some watching with new eyes. High above, the alien council sat frozen. "This changes everything," one member whispered. "Our classification systems are flawed. For generations, respect had been given only to physical power. The stronger species ruled, the weaker obeyed. But what they had just seen did not fit their rules." Zyra rose slowly to her feet, her posture no longer aggressive. Her eyes clear, she looked at Ethan. Not as prey, not as an enemy, but as something unfamiliar, an equal. "You could have ended me," she said. "Why did you stop?" Ethan met her gaze, his voice calm and simple. "We do not train to win," he said. "We train to survive." The words echoed through the arena. Simple, quiet, deadly in meaning. Humans had survived disasters, wars, extinction events, enemies, stronger than themselves, not by overpowering them, but by lasting longer, thinking smarter, adapting faster. The crowd listened closely now. No one interrupted. "We fall," Ethan continued. "We get hurt. We stand back up. That is how humans stay alive." Zyra absorbed every word, understanding something she had never been taught. Strength was not only about striking, it was about restraint. Above them, the council chambers erupted into debate. "This duel cannot be ignored. Our laws were built on outdated assumptions. Humans are no longer a minor species." Screens lit up across the chamber. Data updating. Threat levels recalculating. Zyra turned toward the council tower and spoke loudly. "So the galaxy can hear. This human fought without armor, without weapons, and without hatred." She turned back to Ethan, and he won. The words struck harder than any blow. The cheers grew louder. Some aliens raised their fists. Others watched in fear, because respect in the galaxy was dangerous. Once earned, it could never be taken back. Ethan felt the weight of it now. Not pride, but responsibility. He knew what respect brought. Attention, fear, expectations. The arena lights shifted again, this time to bright white, a signal only used for events of galactic importance. The commentator's voice returned. No longer playful, attention. This duel has triggered a council response. The crowd slowly quieted. A sense of unease settling in. Zyra looked toward the sky, her jaw tight. They will speak, she said quietly. Ethan nodded once, already understanding. When the powerful take notice, nothing stays the same. Across distant star systems. Screens activated, messages prepared. A galaxy-wide announcement was being formed. One that would redefine humans forever. And as the lights above the arena brightened, both Ethan and Zyra knew the duel was over, but the consequences were just beginning. The announcement from the council did not come immediately. Instead, the galaxy reacted first. Across distant star systems, messages spread, images replayed, clips of the duel looped again and again. An unarmed human standing, an undefeated alien warrior falling. In many empires, silence followed, then fear. Military leaders watched the recordings carefully, slowing them down, zooming in on Ethan's movements. This is not raw strength, one commander said. This is discipline. Some alien nations saw opportunity. If humans can fight like this, they argued, they could be allies. Strategists, survivors, others, saw danger. If one human can do this, what happens when there are many? What happens when they fight as a group? Trade routes were paused, border defenses strengthened, threat levels quietly adjusted. The galaxy had begun to treat humans differently. Back in the arena, the crowd slowly dispersed, but the tension did not leave. Zyra stood beside Ethan now, no longer as an opponent, but not yet a friend. You understand what this means? She said quietly. They will not forget today. Ethan nodded. I did not come to be remembered, he replied. I came because I was told to stand. Zyra looked at him sharply. Told by whom? Ethan did not answer. Above them, the council chamber finally lit up. A single figure appeared on the massive screen. Today's duel has changed our understanding, the council voice said. Humans can no longer be classified as non-threatening. A ripple of unease passed through the remaining crowd. Zyra stepped forward before anyone else could speak, her voice strong and clear. If you fear them, she said, you will create an enemy. If you respect them, you may gain an ally. The council paused, listening. I propose a bridge, Zyra continued. Are you an ambassador? One who understands strength and restraint? She turned and looked at Ethan. I nominate him? The words struck like lightning. Whispers erupted instantly. A human voice in galactic politics, that is dangerous, that is necessary. Ethan felt the weight again, heavier than before. He had not planned for this. I am not a leader, he said calmly. I am trained to endure. That word, trained, did not go unnoticed. The council's eyes sharpened. Trained how? One voice asked. Ethan hesitated for the first time, images flickering behind his eyes. Long nights, harsh environments, lessons, built around loss, not victory. There are many like me, he said carefully. Some better. The chamber went silent. Zyra turned to him slowly. What do you mean? She asked. Ethan met her gaze, his voice steady. This was not our strongest human. The words echoed far beyond the arena, across fleets and empires. Hands tightened on weapons. Eyes widened in disbelief. If this is not the strongest, one general whispered, then what are they hiding? The council immediately cut the feed. Emergency sessions declared. Security levels raised. Zyra stared at Ethan now, not with doubt, but with awe, mixed with fear. How many? She asked quietly. Ethan looked toward the stars. Enough, he said. The galaxy had wanted entertainment, a simple duel. Instead, it had discovered a truth. Humans were not rising. They had been preparing, and the final consequences had not yet arrived. The duel did not end in the arena. It ended everywhere, across the galaxy. The recording spread faster than any signal before it, shared between fleets, military academies, trading hubs, and hidden outposts. Again and again, aliens watched the same moment. An unarmed human standing, an undefeated warrior falling. The story changed with every retelling. Some called it luck, others called it skill, but most called it impossible. Human reputation shifted overnight. Where once humans were ignored, now they were studied. Where once they were mocked, now they were measured. Threat charts were rewritten, diplomatic. Files updated, old warnings deleted on human worlds. The news arrived quietly. No celebrations, no speeches, just understanding. They had been seen. Back at the arena, the crowd was gone. The lights dimmed, but two figures still stood at the center. Zyra removed part of her armor, letting it fall to the ground. A sign of trust in her culture. Ethan watched respectfully, saying nothing. You did not fight like a warrior, Zyra said. You fought like a storm that waits. Ethan nodded once. We fight to last, he replied. They stood side by side now, not as enemies, not as allies, but as witnesses to change. Zyra looked toward the stars. Our galaxy will react with fear, she said, and fear always leads to war. Ethan did not deny it. He had expected this. There will be those who test us, he said. Those who want to strike first. Zyra turned to him sharply. And if they do, she asked. Ethan's answer was calm. We will endure, far away. Alien fleets quietly shifted position, defense lines strengthened, exploration ships recalled. Some empires sent messages of peace, requests for talks, offers of alliance. Others began planning, not for today, but for the future. Because one truth had become clear: if humans were allowed time, they would adapt. The Alien Council reconvened in secrecy, their voices tense, their confidence shaken. We underestimated them. One admitted, an underestimation is how empires fall. Back on the arena floor, Zyra extended her hand. Not as a challenge, but as respect. Ethan took it, firm, steady. In that moment, a legend was born. Not of violence, but of restraint. Not of domination, but of survival. The duel would be taught in academies, argued over by scholars, feared by generals. It would become a warning. Never judge a species by its size. Never measure strength by muscle alone. Ethan prepared to leave, his mission complete. At least on the surface, Zyra watched him go, knowing this was not an ending, but a beginning. Will we meet again? She asked. Ethan paused, looked back once. When the galaxy is ready, he said. As his ship vanished into the stars, Zyra stood alone, understanding something deeply unsettling. Humans had not come to conquer. They had come to be known, and that knowledge could not be erased. In the quiet that followed, across every world and every mind, one truth settled like gravity. The galaxy learned a simple truth that day. Humans do not look powerful. They become powerful.